So here I am at the end of my 4th week of my 12-week challenge, and who would have thought that I would have got this far? My reflections in a minute. Setting out on this 12-week challenge only 4 weeks ago, I was extremely apprehensive and anxious, even just to press the go button and start the cameras rolling. It took me, good few minutes, if not 5 to 10 minutes, to even start off. I never thought that I would get to the end of the first week. I didn't think I wouldn't, but it wasn't in my head what actually was going to happen by the end of the first week. And here I am at the end of the first month. Now, apart from everything else that I've learned on the way that I've been daily talking about, what I have realized is that everything is connected to everything. So ideas have started to flow, things have started to happen. I've started to build my course, I've started to design it, to actually write the content. And one thing I've realized about that is that I have the same pattern. So it took me ages to get that started, of course. And once I started, I began to get into a kind of a routine, and it starts to flow. But when I look at it, I'm thinking, not quite sure that it's good enough. If you remember, these were the similar thoughts that I went through when I started this 12-week challenge. And so for the past 3 days, I've been also writing in an expressive way and as an exercise for 20 minutes a day. And even though, on the face of it, it doesn't seem that it's actually, what's the point? What am I doing? But you know something? Your brain connects and my brain connects. And so when I do one thing, it connects up to something else. It's a bit like a spider's web. So one thing joins to this triggers that goes to here. And things start to develop. And when I have a direction, and my direction I covered in my values week, which is my direction. What am I doing this for? Why does this matter to me? Why is this important to me? My brain has accepted that as my direction. And so when I'm doing other things, my brain is kind of scanning all the time to pick out, is there something here that's an opportunity for me to carry on down the direction that I've chosen for myself. And although that sounds a little bit hippy-dippy, actually that's what's beginning to happen. So yeah, it's difficult from the point of view that there's a lot of thoughts, well, maybe not a lot, but there's thoughts coming through of saying, why am I doing this? What's it worth it for? I was out today and I had my eyes on my watch at all times. Am I going to make it to do this in the studio, or am I going to have to just come on live from wherever I was at the shops? And I had a certain kind of anxiety about it, and there was a thought that said, just miss it. I mean, who cares, right? Do I care? Do you care? Does anyone listening care? Anyone watching care? So I don't do it today. I don't do it on a Friday. What will that be? But then I realized that the commitment is to me, right? I've made this committed action, and it's part of what I want to do for my own value structure. So yeah, I made it back, and here I am. So I've found that over the 4 weeks, I'm learning a lot more than just what seems to be on the table. I'm learning that my brain is helping me, or beginning to help me, along this journey, even with things that I haven't thought of previously or planned. So I'm really, really curious when I get to this spot in another month. Now, what I can see already is this is going to be a challenging month. My brain's throwing out, Dov, not quite sure if you're going to make it every day. There's things coming up. You've got obligations. And so there's a certain amount of fear there which says, am I going to manage this or not? So I'll leave that with you and with me on the table. Wonder what will happen in the coming weeks. See you for now.
Dov Benyaacov-Kurtzman has embarked on a 12-week daily live challenge to disseminate a mixture of knowledge, combining his hand-picked golden nuggets from his personal library together with his decades of experience and learning. He is doing this as a committed action to service his values of contributing and helping others, using himself as the subject of this exercise. Despite his feelings of awkwardness, anxiousness, and shame, which usually forms a barrier of uncomfortableness within, holding him back from accomplishing his goals. Dov Benyaacov-Kurtzman is an accomplished psychotherapist and clinical social worker with many years of learning and experience. And yet his self-disclosure of his vulnerability and openness is to demonstrate the human condition that we all experience from time to time. Disclaimer: the contents of this podcast, such as text, graphics, images, and other material contained on the podcast, are for informational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your mental health professional or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding your condition. Never disregard professional advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast.